The female college student I sponsored has seduced my father. She entered our home with a swollen belly and mocked me for having lost my mother since childhood. I looked at her with pity. What a beautiful girl. How could she not know that my father is a kept man? Upon returning from my studies abroad, I found a pregnant woman in our once unfrequented home. The girl was fair-skinned with 2 ponytails and looked remarkably innocent. Father said he'd found her by the roadside, saw her helpless with a pregnant belly, and thought our spacious home could accommodate her, so he brought her back. Yaya had been disliked by her family since childhood for being a girl. Her mother intended to sell her to a village bachelor to pay her brother's bride price. Having barely escaped the mountains, she was deceived by a man and became pregnant. Father would sigh dramatically when speaking of her. What a good child, why did she meet such heartless people? The story sounded increasingly familiar. The impoverished female college student I sponsored 3 years ago was also named Yaya. Yaya was taken under my wing 3 years ago during my field inspection of tourism project development in mountainous areas. Back then, she was tied to a bare sedan chair, being sent to marry a village bachelor. Seeing her face streaked with tears and snot, I impulsively ordered my assistant to rescue her. I then provided her with monthly financial support for 4 consecutive years. Yaya's communication shifted from daily warm greetings to perfunctory monthly thanks. Opening WeChat, our message history with Yaya froze half a year ago, when she mass sent, Happy New Year. Of course, she never missed a single monthly subsidy of 3,000 yuan. My fingers typed rapidly. Yeah, how are you recently? If you need money, please don't hesitate to tell your sister. Ding dong. Messages popped up one after another. Yaya replied instantly. Thank you, sister. I'm doing well recently. I have a boyfriend and am pregnant. He has already taken me into his home and will marry soon. I hope you can attend our wedding. Attend their wedding in his home? I squinted deep in thought. I pushed open my door and went downstairs, only to see Yaya lying on our leather sofa, greedily devouring my chocolate-covered strawberries, never pausing her hand as she opened packages. I scrutinized her purchases. Onesies, diapers, bottle warmers, strollers, cribs, ear thermometers. So she intends to give birth in our home? Yaya glanced at me indifferently, continuing to prop her feet on the golden Namu tea table, splattering strawberry juice everywhere. I laughed coldly. 4 years of sponsorship, and now she thinks she's untouchable? To my astonishment, Yaya had a dual persona. When father came home and saw the sumptuous meal on the table, he beamed with delight. I was about to leap into his arms as usual to seek praise, but he said instead, Yaya, it's so kind of you to be so diligent. Following his gaze, I saw Yaya wearing a floral apron, carrying a bowl of soup. Welcome back, Mr. Lin. Come try the soup I just made. She acted so tender and considerate, as if she were the mistress of the house. Ting, I'm not criticizing, but you should learn from Yaya. You're about the same age, yet she cooks so well and is so sensible. Father seemed to notice me only then, casually gesturing for me to join the meal. In our village, it's natural for women to cook. Grandma always said women who can't cook can't get married. Oops, sister, I forgot you don't cook. Don't take it to heart. I didn't mean you can't get married. Gazing at Yaya's lotus-like smile, I clenched my fists. Only incompetent men demand women be gentle and virtuous. Only narrow-minded women believe not cooking makes them unmarriageable. I can't cook, but this entire meal is takeout. You only made a bowl of soup. I dropped my chopsticks and stared at her. Instantly, Yaya's eyes reddened, tears falling perfectly on cue. Mr. Lin, I know sister has disliked me since I moved in. She gave me attitude over a few strawberries, but I had no choice. Father quickly mediated, glaring at me reproachfully. Ting, how do you speak? Yaya is pregnant. It's already remarkable that she can make soup. Why be so unreasonable? Sensible? Always demanding me to be sensible. If sensible means catering to everyone's whims, then I want no part of it. I slammed my chopsticks on the table and stormed out, slamming the door. In the stairwell, I could still hear Yaya's pitiful sobs and father's gentle coaxing. I messaged Mingzhi, who came to dine with me. Within 10 minutes, a crimson motorcycle curved elegantly to a stop by the road. The rider removed his helmet, revealing silvery gray hair flowing freely. Classic Mingzhi, the show-off. So this little hypocrite is living in your home openly? In the Western restaurant, the man opposite propped his chin, puzzled. Seriously, Ting, are you a saint? Why haven't you kicked her out? I shrugged. What can I do? Father dotes on her now. My biological daughter is not as sensible as others. Mingzhi suddenly leaned closer, looking at me mysteriously. Do you think it's possible that the delicate girl is carrying your father's child? Think about it, would the acting head of the prestigious Gu Group casually bring just anyone home? Unless the child is his. My already suspicious heart instantly rose to my throat. Mingzhi, help me check my father's bank statements. As expected, these two scoundrels had been involved with each other half a year ago. Looking at the printed statements, I let out a cold laugh and said, "Very good. There really is a problem. You're Bai Yeye, right? Do you know that my father is a kept man? The Gu Group was originally my mother's property. My mother, Gu Yue, was once a renowned young lady of the Gu family in the capital. She didn't even look at those young masters with illustrious backgrounds and handsome appearances. Instead, she married beneath her. My father, no, he doesn't deserve to be called my father anymore. Fully employed his perseverance and sweet words to confuse my mother, finally succeeding in becoming the Gu family's son-in-law. Of course, I shouting also naturally took the Gu surname. But the good times didn't last long. When I was 3 years old, my mother died in a car accident. What my father didn't know was that not long after my birth, my mother had secretly found a notary to make a will, as if she had sensed something. Of course, to protect the scoundrel father's pitiful shred of dignity, he remained the acting head of the Gu Group, while I became the actual controlling shareholder. Out of consideration for that tiny bit of father-daughter affection, I still went home at night. When I opened the door, the next scene shocked me even more. My father was sitting high and mighty with his feet propped up, and Bai Yeye was kneeling on the ground washing his feet. This delicate little sister smiled unashamedly. "Mr. Lin, these feet are thick and powerful. They look so amazing." If one didn't know better, they might think she was saying something indecent. How could the fat feet of a middle-aged man in his 50s be considered jade-like feet? Li An's greasy palm stuck to Bai Yeye's face. "You know how to serve people. I haven't felt this comfortable since my wife died." Bai Yeye suddenly realized. "So that's why, sister. After all, she has no mother. I don't blame her. No matter what, I won't argue with her." I gritted my molars. What kind of advanced lotus hypocrite was this? I lost my mother at a young age, and it's not her place, an outsider, to criticize me. What a clever person. If only shouting were half as sensible as you. Linen still thought about sensibility. Bai Yeye smiled coquettishly, deliberately letting out some enchanting sounds, and her plump chest leaned forward intentionally. Linen leered at the white expanse of her cleavage. I stood at the entrance, expressionlessly watching the interaction between these two scoundrels. Seeing that they were about to ignite, how could I miss it? I strode into the living room, big tears falling down my cheeks. "Dad, sister, how could you? She's still a pregnant woman." I bet she didn't dare to announce to the outside world that the child in Bai Ye's belly was his. After all, she had been freeloading off my Gu family for so many years. If something really happened without me taking action, the elders in the Gu Group would never forgive her. Bai Yeye cried like a pear blossom in the rain. "Sister, I didn't come to destroy your family." I raised an eyebrow. "So you came to join us?" Bai Yeye paused for a few seconds, non-committal, her eyes revealing clear stupidity as if asking, "How did you know?" "Sister, believe me, I will definitely make this family better." "How exactly will you make it better?" "You'll rise to power because of your child. If you're better, the Gu family will be worse." Bai Yeye sniffled, looking extremely wronged. "They say a married daughter is like spilled water. When you get married in the future, how will Mr. Lin live alone? I'm from the mountains, and I'm not afraid of having children. I just like having baby boys to carry on the Lin families, and let Mr. Lin enjoy the happiness of family. Please bless us, sister." Her big watery eyes looked at me pitifully, as if blaming me for separating them. I suddenly realized that the longest living people nowadays are not the Japanese, nor those from longevity villages, nor the Westerners with advanced medical benefits. The longest living are the Qing dynasty people in China, who can still be seen active in society, with backward thoughts and constantly having sons. The scoundrel father also chimed in. "Now that you know, have some understanding for your father. Since your mother died, it's hard for me to meet someone I like, and she's even pregnant with my child. What if it's a boy? If Yeye really gives birth to a son for the Lin family, and I have you as a daughter, having both a son and a daughter would be perfect. In the future, with grandchildren all around, what a beautiful family that would be." He was still vividly painting a pie for me. I let out a cold laugh and said, "A son and a daughter perfect? Why don't you drown yourself to make it a urine character?" I pretended to understand. Giving birth to a son for the Lin family, now I fully understand. So Mr. Lin has been so attentive all for the Lin family. That's great. Miss Bai should stay safely in the Lin family to raise the baby. Why should something that gives birth to a son for the Lin family live in my Gu family? Looking into Lin An's angry but Buganyan dare not speak eyes, I whispered in his ear, so only the two of us could hear. "I am your daughter and I Xinggu, surname Gu." After exposing that pair of scoundrels' adultery, I packed a few personal items and left. The Gu family has countless properties, and I was already tired of living in that old villa. Lying on the soft big bed, staring at the spotless ceiling in a daze, a WeChat message popped up. It was Bai Yeye. Since I gave her 5,000 yuan as maternity care fee a few days ago, she had been contacting me very frequently. That enthusiasm made me feel like we were back to the days when I first sponsored her. Sister, I've encountered trouble recently. My boyfriend's family has a boundaryless relative who has been living in our house. A relative? I stared at the screen and laughed. Since when did she, as the hostess, call me a relative? That relative is about my age and very annoying, always targeting me. Sister, do you have any way to drive her away so she never comes back? Interesting, asking me for help on how to drive me away. I typed quickly. You and your boyfriend are seriously planning to get married, so why be so humble and accommodate others? This relative is so bad, don't bear it. Make a scene and show your true colors. That would be interesting. Otherwise, she'll stick to you like glue, and you'll never be able to get rid of her. Yes, the hypocritical delicate girl is too boring. Showing her true colors is more interesting. Let's see what's really under that beautiful face. While scrolling through my phone, I found Little Green Book pushed a WeChat contact to me. I clicked in and saw it was by Yiya with millions of fans. She had copied all the food, houses, cars, bags, and jewelry I showed in my WeChat moments. Using 10-level beauty filters on her selfies, she paired them with contrived captions like, Mr. Lin wants to send me a bag again. I've already said I have enough bags, but he just won't listen. They say bags cure all ills. I love my Mr. Lin so much. Below, a group of brainless fans called it sweet. Even when she moved into my house, she deliberately took photos revealing the interior of the villa. The top comment was a fan asking if she had changed houses, and she replied coquettishly, I got a bit tired of the last one after living there for a long time, so I bought this one for fun. The comment section was full of rich sister. Look at me. It turned out that stealing others' things for a long time really makes you think they're your own. Scrolling down the page, I found they had been involved with each other a year ago. And a year ago, in Bayeya's WeChat, she told me she was preparing for a big innovation project's research and asked if I could help her. I was so angry that I laughed. It turned out I was the only one kept in the dark. How could a young college student like Bayeya, who pretended to be weak and helpless, be able to tolerate an oily middle-aged man like Linen? I really feel sorry for her. An idea suddenly came to me. It's time to change the taste. Handsome, dashing, and wealthy, my first reaction was Mingzhi. Mingzhi widened his eyes. You want me to pretend to be a scumbag to deceive girls? Shouting, what do you take me for? I hesitated for a moment and tentatively said, a latest Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Mingzhi looked disdainful. I'm not that kind of person you think. Then 10 years of usage rights at the Finnish horse farm. Deal. How many people do you want me to serve? According to the bodyguards around the villa, Bayeya goes to the beauty salon for a SPA every afternoon at 3 o'clock. Mingzhi and I looked at each other. Here was a ready-made opportunity. Just as Bayeya came out of the beauty salon, radiant and holding a complimentary coffee from the salon, walking arrogantly all the way, I drove an Aston Martin and crashed recklessly on the road. Don't you have eyes? Can't you see there are people on the roadside? Bayeya covered her stomach, protecting it preciously. Just then Mingzhi, wearing an Armani suit and a pink tie, walked by in a cheesy manner. He supported her shoulder and performed a hero-saving the beauty act. The hot coffee in Bayeya's hand spilled all over him. Dear lady, did I startle you? I don't know if she was startled, but I was. She batted her eyes and looked at Mingzhi's handsome face. I pointed a telescope in the car and laughed foolishly. Mingzhi was indeed a playboy. He was so quick and accurate at picking up girls. The two added each other on WeChat and exchanged contact information on the spot. Afterward, I asked Mingzhi how he managed to hook up with a pregnant woman. He was evasive. The more a woman cares about something, the more you should praise her. Avoidance never works. For example, if a woman is fat, you praise her plump and sexy thighs, saying they're more attractive than skinny girls and feel as smooth as fine mutton fat jade. For Bayeya, I praised her as a sexy hot mom, surrounded by a feminine radiance while still retaining her girlish charm. Unexpectedly, I would meet Bayeya at the Goo Group. What other surprises did this delicate girl have? When I entered the company, Bayeya was causing a scene at the front desk. Why won't you let me in? I'm your president's fiancé and carrying your president's child. If you don't let me in, I'll keep making a scene until Mr. Lin comes and fires all of you. Pregnant and aggressive, she had some skills as a troublemaker. It seemed my father didn't know she had come to the company. Indeed, if the Goo Group knew about Bayeya, those uncles who had built the company with my mother might skin her alive. The beautiful receptionist brought her a cup of tea and asked Bayeya to wait patiently in the lounge. Facing the receptionist's pretty face, she poured the hot tea over her. The receptionist's eyes instantly turned red. I couldn't stand it anymore, handed the receptionist a pack of tissues, and told her to go down. Miss Bai, what's all this about? Bayeya's eyes flashed with panic when she looked up. Why are you here? How can you get in? I found it funny. This is the Goo Group, and I'm the daughter of the president. Why can't I get in? Bayeya straightened her belly. I'm Mr. Lin's fiancé, so I can come too. It seemed she was determined that I would recognize her out of family dignity. She took my hand pretending to be intimate. I haven't seen Shouting for a long time, and I miss her a bit. When will you come back? Your father and I will always welcome you. What a strong smell of green tea. The whole office floor could smell it. I pretended not to hear clearly and asked in surprise. What did you just say? What are you to Mr. Lin? I'm Mr. Lin's fiancé, and I'm carrying his child. Is there a problem? I smiled and turned off the recording. Nothing. Let's go. I'll take you to find my father. In the conference room, Linen was still pretending to listen to the analysis of this quarter's financial report. I nodded to the secretary outside the door and pushed the door open. Shouting. Linen was surprised to see me. Bayeya behind me rushed up and gave him a hug. And you've worked hard. Are you tired? Yeya came to see you today. Bayeya raised her chin, wearing an air of expecting praise, utterly oblivious to the evident awkwardness on Linen's face. The financial director, who was giving a report, hesitated and asked, Who is this? Before Bayeya could proudly announce herself, Linen clamped his hand over her mouth. He forced a genial smile and said, She's a classmate of my daughter. Spoiled since childhood, she has no sense of propriety. Bayeya's pitiful gaze was so heart-wrenching that I decided to help her. Feigning innocence, I asked, Father, but Miss Bai just claimed to be your fiancé. I played the recording of Bayeya's arrogant outburst through the microphone, and the HR director's face darkened instantly. Mr. Lin, what is the meaning of this? You know exactly how the Goo Group was built. Whispers rippled through the room. Furious, Bayeya snapped. How dare you? This company belongs to Mr. Lin. He can do as he pleases. The design director began, but this company is. Seeing my subtle signal, he trailed off. Baya seemed determined to assert her president's wife status. Linen, you must act like a president today. Fire all these insolent people and show them who's in charge. Foolishly, Linen agreed. Yes, I am the president and I make all decisions here. To everyone's shock, over half the senior executives stood up in protest, demanding to resign. Leave then. I've long been tired of you old fogies. I'll promote new blood. Linen sat there like a despot, unaware that this chaos would trigger a complete overhaul of the GU Group's leadership. The cronies he promoted were sycophants, while capable executives left in droves. The company was careening toward collapse. I intercepted the departing directors outside. Uncles, I know the GU Group is the legacy you built with my mother. I won't let Linen destroy it. I bowed deeply and handed them a card and my business card. This fund will support you through this crisis. Uncle Yang, please take my card to Tianlon Holdings. Fong Su will arrange suitable positions for you. The white-bearded elder Huang scoffed. Why would Director Fong listen to a young girl? I leaned in and whispered, Tianlon Holdings is my company. His eyes widened in shock, and I pressed a finger to my lips. Yes, the transnational conglomerate Tianlon Holdings, spanning Asia and Europe, was founded by me during college with my mother's accident compensation. Mid-conversation, a notification popped up. Baya had posted a new video. There she was in my room wearing my bracelets and applying my cosmetics with disdain. This necklace is so last year, only a few thousand yuan. I just like the stone. I scoffed. The centerpiece was a 30 million yuan canary yellow diamond from an auction. She slathered my premium primer like wall putty, cooing, Babes, always moisturize or your foundation will cake. A comment asked, Are those trophies on your shelf all yours? So impressive. She demurred, Just mine, nothing special really. I stared at the familiar awards. Olympic competition first prize, Taekwondo championship, Starfield piano competition winner. To her, my hard-won achievements were mere nothing special. Noting the post was made half an hour ago, I returned to the mansion. The guards bowed as usual. Linen was out. Baya was surely ransacking my room. I pushed open the door to find her pouring alcohol into my face cream. Click. I snapped a photo. Now I have proof. What do you say for yourself? She shrieked and lunged for my phone. I sidestepped, tucking the phone away and holding her at arm's length. Why are you so hateful? She seethed, eyes blazing. Because you deserve it, I smirked, flicking the canary diamond necklace from her neck. I used to love this but it's tainted now. I'll ask Rong Yuan for a better one. Who's tainted? She roared. The one who knows, I replied coolly. Suddenly she collapsed dramatically. I swept her into a princess carry and deposited her on a chair. Trying to frame me? Please, I earned that Taekwondo black belt. At the sound of keys downstairs she wailed. Sister, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have entered your room. Linan's voice thundered, shouting, Are you bullying Yaya again? Yes, it's all my fault, I sighed, leaving for my new apartment. Soon, Baya messaged, Sis, can I borrow some jewelry? My friends are all wearing nice necklaces tomorrow, and I have nothing. I remembered the housekeeper saying she'd been cozying up to mistresses of corporate executives. I smiled and replied, of course. Address sent, code is 8888. That penthouse was trivial, filled with odds and ends I didn't care for. You're the best. Bet you're a total bombshell IRL. I almost laughed, eager to see her reaction when she learned I was her sponsor sister. The next day she entered the penthouse, greedily eyeing the wall of jewelry. She grabbed a pair of glittering earrings, ignoring the matte plain ring beside them, 3 times more valuable. She stuffed 4 rings and 6 bracelets into her bag. Becoming a centipede, are we? I chuckled, screenshotting each item. What's borrowed must be returned. Her new post showed her pouting with socialites, my bracelet stacked on her wrists. Borrowing flowers to offer to Buddha indeed. She'd mastered the art of grifting. The photo showed them sipping champagne by luxury cars, feasting on seafood perfectly styled. You'd never guess she was pregnant. It reminded me of faux socialites, who pool money for photo shoots to fake wealth. Here was the textbook example. Contrasting her online opulence, Linen was truly broke. Holding only 5% of GU Group shares, he'd relied on the company's past success to pose as a tycoon. After firing senior directors on Bayi's whim, the stock plummeted. His yes-men lackeys couldn't manage the company. Chananan, the former receptionist, a hardworking rural graduate, told me he'd smash furniture in a rage. I offered her a spot at Tianlon Holdings if she needed it. Meanwhile, Longzhe was discreetly acquiring GU Group shares. This takeover had to be foolproof. As Bayi's due date neared, I called Yarrow. It was time to close the net. Guards reported Linen erupted after receiving a heavy envelope. Stacks of photos showing Baya in compromising positions with various men, flat-stomached, pregnant, in lingerie nude. I teased how you later why he wasn't in them. The usual playboy blushed and said he was saving the best for the one he loved. Kudos to Mingzher's Intel network. They'd even dug up her photos with an ex-boyfriend. I suspected his family employed half the entertainment industry's paparazzi. Lin An's face turned ashen. He struck Baya across the face. In a fit, she fell down the stairs, miscarrying the male heir in traffic-delayed transit. At the hospital, she raved, My son! You stole my son! Seeing me, she shrieked, You jealous bitch! You took him! Orderlies sedated her as I set down a fruit basket. I'd never intended harm to the child, but for a man like Linen, who married my mother for money, losing the son meant losing her value. Such is the fate of those who trade in greed. His fragile male ego found pathetic validation through Baya. Linen organized a dinner banquet, ordering me to dress impeccably. I nearly snapped back in disgust, but then recalled Rong Yuan's invitation to the same event. With a raised eyebrow, I acquiesced. Escorted by Lin and his sycophantic cronies, we arrived at the private room. He pulled me aside with urgent whispers. This is an international conglomerate, Tingnan Holdings. Director Fong is a prodigy, young and brilliant. Flirt with him tonight. If we secure his favor, Gu Group's financing is guaranteed. He slipped a hotel keycard into my palm, repulsive as it was. Amidst commotion, the door swung open on a pale, elegant hand. A youth in white tailored suit entered, flanked by attendants, chiseled brows, a thin mouth, a demeanor at once commanding and refined, like jade polished to luminous perfection. No wonder I'd once been drawn to Fong Rongyuan. His beauty was disarming. Linen groveled, dragging me forward in obsequious bows. Rongyuan turned to me, eyes warm with amusement. Madam Gu, as majority shareholder of Tianlan Holdings, you hold final say here. I met Lin An's crimson face with a laugh. So you've been lying all along. You knew I was capable, yet insisted I meddle in Gu Group? Why? Because you wanted a pawn. My smile turned pointed. Tingnan Holdings is my creation, as is Gu Group. My mother's shares, notarized and transferred, give me 70% control. I regarded him coolly. I think it's time for a new president, Mr. Lin. At a nod to Rong Yuan, he presented a document. A share transfer contract. Trade your 5% stake in Gu Group for Tingnan's 50 million yuan financing. Do we have a deal? Lin sputtered protests, but his lackeys, greedy for the funding, pressed him to sign. This is coercion, he howled. I tore the contract leisurely. Tingnan disdains coercion. However, I hear Gu Group hasn't paid salaries in 2 months. What would happen if employees reported you? Would your meager assets be seized? Rong Yuan handed over a second contract, including his shares and the Gu family villa. The deed was in your name, but the villa belongs to the family. Sign or face the consequences. He snatched the pen, scrawling his name. How you later told me Lin fled to Europe after moving out, attempting to seduce a wealthy socialite, only to be caught by her husband, beaten and abandoned in a seedy club. I nearly choked on my drink at the irony. No pity stirred in me. The moment he brought Baiye home and demanded I be sensible, he'd cease to be my father. After Baiye's discharge, I terminated her stipend, citing misuse of funds. Desperate, she returned to grifting, but her reputation was ruined. No one wanted a bankrupt barren gold digger. She even broke into the penthouse again, stealing more jewelry. My call to the police was crisp. Uncle policeman, there's been a burglary. At the station, I revealed my identity as her sponsor sister. I saw fire in you that day, tied to that bridal sedan, fighting like a wildcat. I thought such spirit deserved freedom, not a mountain prison. But you traded your soul for trinkets, reduced yourself to a womb for sale. This is not punishment, it's consequence. Her sobs trailed me as I left. For theft exceeding 100,000 yuan, she faced 3 to 10 years in prison. Let her reflect behind bars. Later, I visited mother's grave beneath the plum tree I'd planted. The tree towers over me now, but she remains eternal in its blossoms. Resolute as frostifying snow, her elegance undiminished by time.